I feel like this saga has been going on for years and years and years. I remember talking about it on this channel back in like 2020. 5 years ago, I think, was the first time we talked about this. And it's always felt like there's a chance. Maybe we can do it. Maybe this can happen. Maybe we can get it done. I don't know. But then in the end, it felt like, man, we were so far away. Why did we ever think that? But I think this time is actually different. And I think this time, Giannis is actually going to get traded away from the Milwaukee Bucks. So let's see what the Raptors can offer to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, if it's enough to get him, and if it is enough, if the Raptors should actually do it. And while we're doing this, I want you guys to let me know what you guys think. Would you want to go for Giannis? Because for me, this is a top 5 player in the NBA. You can make a case this is a top 3 player in the NBA. Not 2 or 1. Can't make a case there. But you can make a case this is a top 3 player in the NBA. At the least, he's a top 5 player. Perennial top 5 player in MVP voting. This is a guy you go out for. Especially in a season where you might feel like the East is a little bit open. And especially in a season where the East is a little bit more open, and right now you are cooking as one of the now top 3 seeds in the East. Raptors currently sit as the 3 seed. Still like a very congested Eastern Conference. Like they're only 1.5 games. So they're only 2 games up on the 9 seed Atlanta Hawks. So a very congested Eastern Conference, but this feels like a good season to make a move like that. And the Raptors have some assets that can get this done. So let's investigate this one a little bit further. So this all kind of started when Giannis started deleting a lot of posts off of I saw more so his Instagram account. He deleted basically every post associated with the Milwaukee Bucks other than the championship photo, and there was one other one. And usually when I see stuff like that, I think, all right, it's people fishing for a story. But then more and more kind of started coming out of this one. And eventually we got the Shams Charania tweet that Giannis and his agent have started conversation with the Bucks about his future, discussing whether his best fit is staying or elsewhere. Because the Bucks started the season actually decently, putting up some wins, doing, feeling like they could maybe compete a little bit in the Eastern Conference, especially, I keep saying it, but it felt like a bit more of a depleted Eastern Conference. But since that point, the Bucks have absolutely been racking up losses. I think there was a stretch of games where they had lost 7 in a row. We'll try and find it. Here. They lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They lost 7 in a row. Busted the slump against the Nets, but then lost to the freaking Wizards. Then they beat the Pistons, which is weird set of circumstances, but they lost 7 in a row, and also then 2 games later lost to the Wizards. So clearly something is wrong there. I mean, we kind of saw it coming into the season. They made a very large push last year by acquiring Damian Lillard. They sacrificed a lot of depth. Last season, the team's strategy was, please, Dame and Giannis score enough for us to win, and hopefully we get enough filler elsewhere. That's kind of what the situation was there for the Milwaukee Bucks. And then Dame gets injured. And then they buy out Dame. And they don't have the money to supplement talent for Giannis. And they signed Miles Turner, who is not nearly enough help for Giannis. So now the Bucks are in that tough spot. Giannis not getting any younger. This is the age 31 season. He wants to make something happen. And perhaps the best way to do that is to make a trade. It might be the best even thing for the organization. Like, they don't have any money to build around him. Maybe it's best just to recoup a ton of assets. Step back and say, you know what? In this Giannis era, we won a championship for the first time. And I think the last time was in like the 70s. Sorry if I'm wrong. But First time they'd won a championship since like the 70s. Maybe they kind of step back and say, you know what? It was worth it. Let's recoup some assets. Let's start fresh now. It could be the best situation for both teams. And the contract, Giannis maybe wants to make an attack somewhere while he's on this contract. He's making $54 million this year, almost 58 to $59 million the next season. And then he's a player option in 27-28 worth about $63 million. Not cheap, but worth it for a player of his ability who has still, like, even with age, as you saw, maybe athleticism would start to fade a little bit. He still is a truly sensational player. He's averaged in the last few seasons 30 points, 30 points, 31 points, 30 points, 29, 29 and a half. He's been, in the last 7 seasons, an MVP twice. And then the other 5 seasons, he's been top 4 in MVP voting. He's been top 7 in MVP voting the last 9 years. He has been All-NBA first team the last 7 years. And he was All-NBA second team the 2 years before that. This is one of the very best players in the NBA, potentially becoming available for trade. That does not happen ever. Ever. And even with the rumors of like a potential that Giannis could ask for a trade, apparently, according to Brian Windhorst of ESPN, who I continually cite as being a source who, this is like one of the most trustworthy sources out there. Windy does not give a shit about clout from spreading rumors. In fact, you could argue he likes the opposite. He doesn't want to be mentioned like this. He just reports the NBA as the news comes to him. And he said that apparently he's already asked to be traded. And the story just hasn't broken out completely like that yet. So it feels like this could be the very first time Giannis is actually seriously on the trade block. So with that $54 million contract in mind for this season, what would the Raptors have to do in order to get him? Let's dig into the trade machine. So from a Raptors perspective, it has to be RJ. So let's start it from a Bucks perspective. They're going to want Scottie Barnes. I think immediately the Raptors say no. In the summer, I might have been more willing to trade Scottie. I probably would have still felt like I'm not so sure. Don't really want to trade him, but I maybe could have been convinced. The way he's played this season, he's really looking like the guy you're going to build around. Obviously, Giannis changes that, but I don't think it's worth sacrificing Scottie to do this. You want to bring in Giannis to be a contender. To be a contender, you need the likes of Barnes and Ingram on your team. So you want to bring in Giannis to play with Barnes and Ingram. The trade from a Raptors perspective, starts with RJ Barrett. It just has to. Financially speaking, it has to be. And then I think the same goes for Emmanuel Quickley. You need to get up to that $54 million number. And I think the way to do that is going for Emmanuel Quickley. Those two players are probably the ones in this trade. You need to take away. Sorry, I didn't even add. Oops. I need to add Giannis. Add Giannis. I think this works. Yeah, this works. Now you need to decide the picks. You could argue, okay, what if you go Barrett and Pirtle? Just feels kind of difficult to do. We need to adjust the salaries a little bit more. I think if you're going to use Giannis, I think you profit a lot more having a guy like Pirtle. You know of Giannis' best days in the Bucks. He's got a rim-protecting player like Brook Lopez next to him. Giannis is best served as a 4 on defense, a help defense 4, rather than playing as that pure rim protector. And sure, there's like other players who can play big roles for the Raptors. I think having that big is important. I'm more willing to sacrifice the guard play than the rim protection play and the defense there in this trade. So I'm going to go with Emmanuel Quickley. I think Emmanuel Quickley is more enticing for the Bucks as well. As far as the picks go, if you're not going to put in Scottie Barnes, I mean, you just simply have to do 4 first-round picks. no other way to spin this conversation. It has to be 4 first-round picks. So we're going to give them all the first-round picks up until 2032. Then probably going to be 2 swaps. I don't know if you can do... Okay, we can do swaps. So 2027, we'll do a swap. Other team has the right to swap, and then we'll do the other team has the right to swap in 2029. We'll do 4 picks, 2 swaps. Send that their way. To me, that is the offer you got to send. That is the offer. Like, if I'm the Raptors, I'm sending that the way of the Bucks. And I'm going to see if in the Giannis auction, first of all, if Giannis wants to go to the Raptors, maybe they take that sort of deal. But I'm going to see if that's the highest bid in the auction. I'll concede. There might be a better offer available from the Knicks. Could be maybe one coming in from the Heat. There could be better ones out there. For me, that is the offer you got to send. That is the offer where I'm stepping back and saying, let's see if they take it. I'm not sure the Bucks take it. I'll be honest, I'm not sure the Bucks take it. RJ is viewed as undesirable salary. It's kind of clear that's how he's treated in the NBA universe. I mean, whether you agree or not, that's his perception in the NBA based on the evidence we have. Emmanuel Quickley might be perceived that way. And I don't know if 4 picks basically on their own is getting that trade done. I think they really got to get like a really good young player in this to trade Giannis. This is Giannis after all. That's the offer I send the way. I think the Bucks have to certainly have a conversation about it. I'm not sure they go and take that. In this hypothetical, if they would do that from a Raptors perspective, look, I understand it. You know, you're going to be missing a lot of point guard play there. I'm okay Giannis taking on the RJ Barrett role. You know, RJ Barrett slashing a lot, still getting a ton of touches. I'm cool with that. And I think there's enough talent that even though Giannis isn't a terrific fit with Barnes and Ingram, we can make it work. Like hell, RJ Barrett's not a great fit with Barnes and Ingram. We're making that work when he's healthy. So I think Giannis is a humongous upgrade to the roster. You do miss on a lot of guard play. You probably have to elevate Shed there, which is not like I like Shed. I don't think that's a super ideal point guard for this team. Maybe you look to get a point guard elsewhere somewhere. I'm not sure. I'm willing to take the risk. I'm willing to figure it out later in order to get a player of this caliber, of this stature to get it done. But it could be a simple one. I mean, there could be like a Bucks content creator going right now. Unless they offer Scotty, the answer is no. Like, Scotty has to be the starting point or this trade isn't happening. So, can the Raptors do this trade? I think this is an offer that gets a conversation started. If this is a yes from the Bucks, this is a yes from me, and I think I'm quite sure it would be a yes from the Raptors. At this point, I don't think it's a yes from the Bucks. So I think it's possible, but still doesn't feel like the Raptors can do it. I mean, they can do it. The easy way to do it, they offer Scotty, they can have Giannis. If they offer Scotty, I think they have Giannis tomorrow. I feel like that's how the conversation would go. But I don't think you can go that far and offer Scotty Barnes in this one here. What do we think in the chat? Freakzilla says the cost of Giannis would be Scotty. If you're willing to do that, you have the conversation. Any other offer would get beaten by the Spurs, Hawks, Magic, Thunder, Detroit, or Houston. And that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Giannis had to be a 3-team deal. Maybe to get a point guard. Maybe that's kind of the right way to do it. That's a good point from Tycoon in the chat. Freakzilla says, Bucks say no if you start with RJ. We love RJ here, but do you build a franchise around RJ? You do not. But maybe you build around 4 first-round picks. I'm not sure. Maybe they feel that way. Yeah, RJ... not a desirable contract. So again, it's are the picks enough to get it done? And I'm not sure. If they don't get Scotty, they say no. 95 Yada says if they ask for Scotty, we say no. I personally don't see it happening. And I think that's the way I'll have to end this kind of segment. Unless it's Scotty, the Bucks say no. If it is Scotty, the Raptors say no.